That song reminds me of my daughter Jet because that's one of her favorite karaoke go-to songs. A little wagon wheel. So, I know not everybody likes country, but guess what? I love country. So we're going to hear some country. So thank you, Kennedy, for incorporating a little Texas love into this huddle every so often. All right. We are continuing on with being a high road leader. And we are talking today about embracing authenticity. And this was another just really great chapter. But John Maxwell said, a high road leader cannot hide. You cannot pretend to be something that you are not. You can't trick people into believing you are a better leader than you are. Be open with them about your flaws and your strengths. I think we can trick people for a while. But if we're going to do anything for the long haul, we're going to have to be authentic. We're going to have to be authentic. I thought this kind of made me chuckle a little bit, but the purpose of admitting our weaknesses is not to make other people aware of them. Guess what? They already know. Yeah, they're already really clued in on how difficult we are to work with. This team is real clued in about how at the last minute I walk in with a great idea. I'm like, hey, we've got like 30 minutes until game time. You think, we could do this? And they all literally want to strangle my little neck and go, are you serious? You could have had this idea like 2 weeks ago when we had a planning meeting. Nope, I'm just flying right in and thinking everybody got time for everything. Guess what? I don't have to admit that so that Kennedy goes, oh, I didn't know that, Teresa. Interesting fact about you. Nope, she knows. But admitting that lets her know that I'm aware. That I'm aware that sometimes I'm a pain. I'm aware that sometimes I can be difficult. I'm aware that sometimes my behavior might make things difficult for other people, right? So that authenticity really is not about letting other people know something that they don't already know about you. It's about letting them know that you know where your weaknesses might be, that you're aware of them, and that you're either working to get into your strengths, you're asking for help, right? You're just operating in an openness and an authenticity. So he gives 6 ways that we can embrace authenticity. And the first one is to live good values. It's a lot easier to be authentic if you have nothing to hide. Like way, way easier. So live good values, have good character. You become willing to be yourself when you're clear on what is important. When your authentic self is flawed, but it operates according to good values, you're willing to show it to other people. So it is a lot harder to do this if our character and our values are not in alignment. The second thing is embrace the line of living between success and failure. And I think this is such an easy thing to do in leadership, in real estate, is that if you think about failure down here and success down here, we oftentimes think we're either at one side or the other. We had a great month, so we're over here. We're a success. We're rocking. We laid a big, goose egg this month. We're a failure. We had an amazing year. We had not an amazing year. We had a smooth transaction and got a referral. Our client got upset with us. And we're constantly going back and forth between success or failure and defining ourselves by something that happened and deciding in our own minds whether we're a success or a failure. And he challenges us to live between the two. Your best moment doesn't define you. Neither does your worst. Now, it can define us if we allow it to in certain ways, but the reality is our lives are made up of a lot of days. And what defines us the most is how we show up consistently day after day after day, right? So if we go binge eat at the fair and eat all of the foods in the world, that bad day of eating doesn't define our health. Nor does did a fast and did water and carrots, and that defines my health. Like, It's what we choose every single day, day after day after day. So people want to follow a leader who is real, not a leader who's always right. And I will tell you this, the same as with your clients, be authentic with them. They want to follow somebody who's real. If you make a mistake, admit it, own up to it. The third thing is embrace the value of character over reputation. I think in our world with social media, there is a lot of emphasis on reputation, on creating an image of what we want people to believe about us. Now, we could do a whole huddle on the importance of marketing and branding, and obviously that is important, okay? So creating a brand and all of that. But what I would say is we can also create a brand that's either authentic to who we are or unauthentic to who we are. And the best of the best, they're authentic, right? Their brand is going to represent, if they're a little bit goofy, they're going to have a brand they're going to show up a little goofy sometimes. That's okay, right? If they are incredibly polished and professional, and their brand needs to be authentic to who they are. So even when we're thinking about it from that perspective, but remember at the end of the day, character trumps it all. And you're not going to outgrow your character. The fourth thing is embrace the choices you make over the gifts that you have been given. And this is something that I have worked to do as a parent, and that is to praise my children around their efforts, not around their results. Meaning, you're so smart, you're so brilliant, or I love how hard you worked to study for that test. I'm so proud of the way that you put hustle into the game today and that you worked on your shots all week long, right? Because talent is a gift. That we need to come from gratitude with the gifts that we've been given. But it's the choices that we get to make every single day that we should take pride in. I'm going to read this to you. I thought this was kind of cool. It says, belief lifts your talent. Passion energizes your talent. Courage tests your talent. Initiative activates your talent. Teachability expands your talent. Focus directs your talent. Character protects your talent. Preparation positions your talent. Relationships influence your talent. Practice sharpens your talent. Responsibility strengthens your talent. Perseverance sustains your talent. And teamwork multiplies your talent. So focus on the choices that you're making, not on the gift that you've been given. The fifth thing is to embrace your contribution. Embrace your contribution. So sometimes as leaders, sometimes as business people, we show up with ego, and we have an overinflated view of our contribution, right? Like this, if I was not here, this market center would just fall apart. You know, if I miss an ALC meeting because I'm sick, it's just going to go like down the tubes and nobody will get any value and it would just be terrible, right? Well, that would be an overinflated sense of ego, right? It would also be an undervalue of contribution if I said, nobody needs me. Really, I could just not be there and nobody would even know the difference. Okay, both are really self-centered, to be honest. Okay, right? I mean, like if you say it in that kind of dramatic voice, we kind of realize how silly it is. So not having just an overinflated view of our contribution or an under view of our contribution. Learn to accept a compliment. And I think this is something I tend to shove. Oh, no, it's not me. No. If, I come from the church world and everybody, it's just Jesus, not me at all, and sometimes it can be almost just I'm not valuing the contribution that I'm bringing to the table. All right. And the last one is embrace honesty when you're wrong and you make a mistake. I think this is so big. Embrace honesty when you're wrong. As a matter of fact, for those of you who signed up for Investor Club, you're about to get an email with the subject line, I made a mistake. Because on the email that I sent out, I told everybody it was at 2:00. The actual time is 1:00, in which Alicia sent out. So yay for me. And I'm pretty sure I mostly sent that to people outside of our market center. So how impressive am I? Yeah, but guess what? So I could, say there was a technology glitch or Alicia did it, or we moved the time, or I don't know. I can't honestly even think of a good excuse because it's just pretty much wrong, right? But just embrace the mistakes. When you're in a transaction and you make a mistake, just own it and make it right. Be willing to embrace that. There is nobody on this huddle that hasn't made a mistake. And there's nobody on this huddle that hasn't made a mistake in a transaction or hasn't made a mistake on a contract. Janice, do the best of the best sometimes make a mistake. They sometimes make a mistake. And I will tell you, the best of the best, own it and figure out, how do I make this right? And come from that place, as opposed to shifting blame or trying to point the finger on somebody else or running away and hiding. Maybe nobody will notice, right? Just embrace it, apologize, own it, make it right, and move on. So Jamie Kern Lima says, authenticity doesn't automatically guarantee success, but inauthenticity guarantees failure. Okay. All right. So tomorrow is Open Mic Friday. So we have had a lot of content this week over huddles. All right. So I am going to challenge you to show up tomorrow. I'm going to challenge you to look over your notes or Google something. If you didn't take any notes, say, what is the chapters of High Road Leadership? What could I talk about? And bring something to the conversation, because guess what? Don't say, well, I don't have anything to contribute. That's just what we talked about. You do have something to contribute. Don't undervalue your contribution to this. High Road leaders, they give more than they get. So if you received anything out of Huddle this week, I'm going to encourage you to show up tomorrow morning and give something. And I promise you, what happens is a lot of times what you say is somebody else's most important aha of the entire week. So that's happening tomorrow. Investor Club at 1:00 today. As always, Anne will be on Broker Chat. If you're at Investor Club, that will be posted on Nova Link, so you can always access those. And then tomorrow, we have quite a bit happening. We've got contract review with Janice on the 1 to 4 family. Colette will be talking about the complimentary listing packages through Go Marketing. So if you just heard me say that and you said, what complimentary listing packages? Then that might be a class you want to attend. And then we did pretty good getting some more registrations for Define, but it is not, now's the time to get registered for that. I thought Dusty was awesome yesterday. I promise you it will be well worth your monetary investment and also your time investment to be in the room with us next Thursday. All right, there is no conversation practice today because Daniel is downstairs getting ready to teach on database today. And he said, I'm not using the slides. I got something different planned. So even if you've taken a Go Groundwork database class before, you might want to show up today because I think it's going to be a little bit different. But we'll see everybody back tomorrow morning to close out the week on Huddle.